Good evening, or I should say good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this. This, right here, part 7 of Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History, this is the earliest, I think, in 6 years that I've actually made a video. And what's even more astonishing is the fact that I had to walk all the way to work just to be able to do this. I mean, for what it's worth, let me demonstrate to you my plight. Let me show you how hard this really was. Okay, ready? So, watch this. That took all of 3 steps, by the way. You know what I could have done in those 3 steps? I could have blinked at least twice. Yeah, and you know what? Has its upsides, doesn't it? Unlike what happened last time. Now, if you remember anything at all about what happened last time, despite everybody's persistence, and despite the fact that Chris decided to comply with sending nudes and they get leaked onto the internet, and Chris Gormless never thought to connect the dots about maybe giving people my personal information, including pictures of myself, in a epidermic cladding fashion, is not really the way to go, because it's resulting in more people laughing and mocking me. Chris, but insofar as never connecting the dots is concerned, it has culminated in Blanca Wise's story coming to an end as Chris's original solitary medallion has been destroyed. You would suspect that this is probably where Chris would have, the light would have been switched on. Unfortunately, the lights are on. It's just there's nobody home. So, let's see who else is not home today.
What made him this way?
It is also 10 to 9 in the morning.
What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
Captain's Log, Stardate, October 21st, 2008. Well, it's done. Blanca and I, well, she broke up with me.
She wasn't real,
the Pickle
but okay.
Man tricked me again. A few more stupid photos. Anyway, she saw them. She got angry. She broke up with me. So, I'm sad.
Still refusing to accept that Blanca might have been a troll, Christian believed that she broke up with him because of the photos that the Pickle Man leaked onto Encyclopedia Dramatica.
I hope you jerks and trolls who wanted to break us up are happy. Because all you did was make me feel sad, depressed, and you made me crash into slumber a couple of times. And you know, it takes a lot of stress and exhaust and such to make a person feel like they're gonna crash and burn into a whole bunch of into a long slumber. So anyway, I'm sad, and Blanca is sad too, and even more sad because her grandma died.
Nevertheless, he had the energy to give an update about Panda Halo and Jimmy Hill.
You know, Panda Halo is the moderator for the fan site on that I officially approved. She's also helped me against the imposter Jimmy Hill. Again, do not buy anything from that bastard imposter, because y'all know he did the same thing to Warner Bros. Years ago.
What do you mean he did the same thing to Warner Brothers years ago? Chris, what are you talking about? Why would a football commentator now suddenly get involved in taking legal action against Warner Brothers? Chris, did you do any research into? Did you look up who Jimmy Hill was before? No, I'm going to guess that he didn't, because again, he's not connecting the dots. He isn't realizing that there's something. There's a logical leap of faith in what's going on.
He was put to jail for it, so he deserves to be put in jail again. So, yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna sulk some more and maybe I'll upload this video, I don't know.
Soak.
Y'all take care, be safe.
2 days later, Jessie Ruddy revealed herself to have been untrue, and their relationship ended in an explosive chat in which she branded him a homosexual, with Chris defending himself by professing his desires for sexual practices to be administered unto him by a woman. On October 26th, Christian took part in a fan chat through IRC, trying to bounce back from his breakup with Blanca. During an impromptu question and answer session, he admitted that he was already seeing someone else, claiming her name was Chloe. According to him, they met at a GameStop while pre-ordering Little Big Planet, and had already gone to second base together. According to his story, this would mean that they were dating at the same time that Chris thought of Blanca as his true sweetheart, supporting the theory that Chloe was a fabrication.
Yeah.
When asked about her just over a year later, he had absolutely no recollection of her. The name might have been a reference to Chloe Rosechew, an original character created by Sarah Cassandra Mackenzie. The following day, Christian uploaded his first Q&A video in which he answered 10 questions from Sonichu fans.
Okay, here we go.
This is the first Q&A video of a lot of Q&A videos of questions from Sonichu fans on the internet. Anyway, y'all know who I am. And this is Lil Chris, teddy bear I put together at Creative Career.
Chris introduces Lil Chris, which he created at a Create a Critter workshop after winning a gift certificate from a radio station years ago.
Good little bear. And this is my guitar. Y'all should know my guitar.
What if we don't,
Also,
Chris?
this is my wristband. I put it on my wrist for when I play guitar. Now, on to the questions.
During the Q&A session, he reveals that he gets his clothes from Goodwill or the Salvation Army, and discusses Black Sonichu and Natesurk.
Are there jails at Quickville? What happens when they commit crimes, and what's the worst crime?
Okay, here we go.
We have jails. Same as everywhere else, trial, then sentence, after being turned guilty or innocent. And the worst crime? Importing cigarettes or alcohol. Which the sentence for that would be 10 years or $1,500 fine. Case dismissed.
He once again mentions Chloe.
For 10 years in prison, you would expect that to be a $150,000 fine, but they do also say that the punishment should fit the crime. And what if somebody just refused to do it? What would happen, Chris?
Martel, what's the status of my love life? 100% heart. I met the girl named Chloe at the GameStop where we have reserved Little Big Planet. She lives around here on Dickerson Road. That's nearby. Other details I will leave discreet because I do not want to reveal any more information than necessary for there can be imposters on the internet trying to get a cheap laugh, whatnot. Oh, look at me, I'm a troll. I think I play around as a girl. Hello? Not a
Well, you say that, Chris, but
good idea. In Quickville, the sentence for that would be 20 years prison or $2,000 fine. Case dismissed.
Christian is asked if he would become a sperm donor.
And would I ever become a spleen donor? Maybe. That's the answer. So that's it for the Q&A, but I want to close this with a comment from somebody else
yeah, but who wants Chris's spunk, though?
that wants to confirm my
that's
identity.
the question.
A friend of mine, whose name shall remain anonymous at the moment. She says, "Okay, Chris, if you read out this message I sent, I'll know it's you. Please just read it out in full, and then the trolling should stop. I want to talk with you and catch up on everything. You know it's me because I use the word ban."
He unintentionally reveals the identity of the person in question.
I only talk to you on, if I'm 100% sure it's just between you and me, from Megan Schroeder.
Bruh.
Shame on you. You and your boys. Shame on you.
Chris.
It is uncertain whether these were Megan's actual words or those of a troll who assumed her identity. On the same day, he uploaded a video showcasing his skills on the game Guitar Hero World Tour, playing the song Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar. In the video description, he asked viewers to vote for him in the GameStop Be a Star sweepstakes competition held by GameStop to promote the release of the game Guitar Hero World Tour. The contest asked people to send in photos of themselves in a Guitar Hero pose, and the picture with the most votes would win a $400 GameStop.
Also, can I just ask, what exactly happened to Guitar Hero, by the way? Because, again, even when I was a kid, this game was just everywhere. From 80s editions to World Tours to Guitar Heroes 1, 2, and 3. There was even DJ Hero, which had like this little portable DJ sound deck. Was it that they just sort of ran out of ideas and the burnout was too much for them to handle, so they kind of like stopped making these games? Which is a shame, really, because I think the idea was awesome. Good Lord knows where any of these Guitar Hero controllers go now, because they must be lining up skip after skip after skip.
Gift card. It was rumored that the winner would also be included as a playable character in the game, but this was proven to be false. This was Christian's entry. He uploaded yet another video on the same day, in which he played through his custom-made level in Little Big Planet, based on the events from Sonichu Episode 1. Even though there is no audible commentary from Chris, it is most likely that he did provide it during the recording session, as his in-game character's mouth moves, which happens when the player speaks into a microphone connected to the gaming system. The following day, he uploaded a video in which he shows the optional race dash available in his level. On October 31st, two trolls put up a sign on the front lawn of Christian's house. The sign read Encyclopedia Dramatica and also featured an illustration of a black man in a pickle suit. Due to the ever-lengthening Christian page on ED getting too difficult to manage, Cogstaff founded The Quickie, a Wikipedia-style database solely dedicated to cataloging Chris's past and present activities. On November 11th, Christian announced on his Sonichu site that he had won the Be a Star sweepstakes after trolls collectively got together to vote for his photo, under the misconception that his likeness would be included in Guitar Hero. He claimed that he would share his $400 gift card with his church congregation, only to later confess that he spent a sizable portion of it on himself by purchasing games for the Nintendo Wii.
I'm not shocked, but why do you feel the need to lie to people, Chris? Like, and you think that's what's going to stop people? Also, I don't even know why the trolls even thought that this was a good idea, just because you're giving Chris exactly what he wants.
3 days later, he posted several videos concerning the game Little Big Planet. In the first, Chris plays through his custom-made level styled after the cartoon Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Next, he demonstrates how to create your own Sonichu-looking character. Later that day, he uploaded another video with audible commentary for the first time.
Hello, y'all should know me by now. All the people on the Little Big
I wish I
community,
didn't.
as well as all my Sonichu and Rose Chew fans. If not, my name is Christian Chandler. Okay.
He previews the idea of a collector's case, which he designed to store all in-game items he receives.
Basically, the idea of the whole collector's case here is backing up all your items so that when you get to that point, you just back up all your items into each of these little boxes. And when if you feel like you need one of those items for level you're working on, you just come back into the level. You just come back into your own version of this level after you add your items, and go get them.
In a separate video, he shows off his own personal collection in his own collector's case.
So anyway, I put all my Sonichu level stuff in here and everything else. There are 4 trophies. I think I put them in there first since I first talked about them.
That's a lot of stuff, though,
There's a lot
Chris.
of
Look at
comic
that.
covers currently. And all the level parts, big chunks.
Big chunks.
10 days later, he He made a video telling the story of his experiences with the PS3, told through a custom Little Big Planet level.
Take a ride of you some of the games in my collection.
Bad.
You're not that.
Don't know.
Throughout
Right.
November, Vivian G took part in an online creative writing project called National Novel Writing Month, which calls for participants to write a 50,000-word manuscript during the month of November. Vivian's story was called A Girl Who Brought Down the World, in which Christopher Winfield Vega, a character who resembled Chris in many ways, eventually becomes the supreme ruler of the entire world. Strewn throughout the story are references to Chris's own life, as she attempted to show him the error of his ways in a creative manner. When the novelette was finished, she sent it to his home address, hoping that he would read it. Upon receiving it, he was most concerned about who was going to pay for shipping, but since NaNoWriMo could send the writers one free copy of their own story, it is likely that Vivian offered Christian's address instead. When he brought up the book again months later, he admitted that he had not read it yet.
Oh.
On December 1st, Chris confessed to Panda Halo that he was looking forward to possibly making a new gal pal. I just went out to Golden Corral with my father. Mom stayed home because she didn't feel well. Anyway, I've made a new gal pal today, the server who served me and my father. She was cute. Her name is Caitlin. Eventually, she commented on the Family Guy episode I was playing on my PSP. I introduced myself to her, and there was a peaceful spark. I left her a note on a napkin. I noted my being
Also, I think this is even still back in the time where it was still seen as quite novel and a bit of a novelty, if you will, that you would actually take maybe a PS3 or a Nintendo DSi and you could actually just watch TV shows on them. I think it was more for a PSP sort of thing, and yeah, you don't realize that these sorts of things until like years later about sort of how good we have it, because literally you can just pick up a smartphone and you can get pretty much everything you want instantaneously. I never did anything like that myself. I mean, try to explain me, Wi-Fi connectivity when I was like 10 years old it wasn't quite going to work the same way.
internet famous and mentioned Sonichu.net, then listed my phone number in inquisition of being friends. If I'm there again, I'll make a note to talk to her again, or ask about her among the staff. My family and I personally know a couple of the other Femall staff members, both older and taken.
And
He never mentioned her again. Throughout the last month of the year,
Probably
Christian
for the
continued
best.
to make sporadic
They weren't
appearances
Femall
in the
enough.
Sonichu Fans IRC, in which he updated his fans on his personal goings-on and answered any questions. During these chats, Vivian confronted Chris with fake information that challenged his worldviews, such as asking him about non-Caucasian female fans and telling him that a gay fan found him attractive. In an IRC conversation from December 15th, a purportedly female user named Blue Spike asked Chris whether he would film a tour of his house. He said he'd consider it. 3 days later, he revealed that he paid $35 to have Sonichu copyrighted. In the same chat, Vivian informed Chris of a Sonichu fan named Ryan Cash, who killed himself when he heard that there would be no more Sonichu comics released as long as the ED page was still up. Christian said that he was saddened by it, but still made sure to advertise a virtual meeting place for Sonichu fans in PlayStation Home. He added that he would consider making a tribute video for Ryan. On December 22nd, Vivian brought up Ryan Cash again, claiming that his family hoped that their son's death did not upset Chris too much. He confessed that he had an emotional moment, but was feeling better. He offered a message for the family. Try to move on and live life.
He tried to have an emotional moment. Oh, that was fun. Yeah, I mean, how much? What's the reality, however, of Chris taking it on board that his work actually meant that much to somebody? It's strange because no, seriously, actually, it's never really occurred to me before this because I didn't really think there would be anybody, but assuming there was just somebody out there who just kind of felt that, you know what, despite how amateurish, despite how incredibly first draft quality and then published, just despite the overall tone and the presentation and everything about Sonichu, Do you think there's somebody out there who just kind of looked at it and thought, well, fair play to him for trying, if absolutely nothing else? Do you like? I'm talking about very, very casual sort of fans, but fan would also insinuate that they read a little bit further beyond 5 miles from Station Square. Now, do you really think that occurred to Chris? I doubt it.
Life as peacefully as possible. I'm sure Ryan would have wanted his family to be happy as much as possible. I know that God and Jesus would have told them the same thing from the Bible. 5 days later, Christian and Panda Halo had an allegedly private chat during which she told him that Robert Simmons had come to Australia for a visit and that she met up with him. She constantly teased Christian, inciting jealousy by saying that Robert was a really nice guy and that they went to the beach together, where she got to try out her new bikini. When she asked about a possibility of a threesome involving Rob, Chris, and herself, Christian confessed that he was against it. They discussed masturbation, which they referred to by Christian's preferred euphemism, masturbating. He admitted that he would be willing to be penetrated by a strap-on dildo when they're finally together, and also said that he would have sex with a female dog for her, specifically a collie.
Right. It's currently 9:10 in the morning, and it is still way too early for this. Chris, can I just ask the question? And I know it's gonna. What do you suppose Chris would say if all of a sudden this sort of information got leaked onto the quickie? I mean, the fact that we know about this now is one thing, but what if it got leaked onto the quickie still in 2008, and Chris could think to himself, how is this happening? Oh wait, I forgot we already have that, because they'll just come back and say, well, the trolls got a hand of this information. And then Chris will just say, oh, so there is a good explanation after all. Could have saved us a lot of trouble, and I wouldn't feel nearly as bashful by saying I wanted to get bummed by a collie. Why say that?
Christian also revealed that he bought a chocolate condom for $1, which he will be saving for their first time. He also confessed that he loved her. The next day, they had another chat in which they discussed more private details, such as Chris's fecal incontinence. During the conversation, Panda confessed that she was having emotional and painful period pains and unleashed a series of bizarre outbursts at Christian. It especially angered her when he said that he wasn't up for cybersex at the moment. Panda instructed Chris to f*** a dick you're a f*** gay anal sex. He later revealed that he lacked inspiration for making YouTube videos due to his sudden internet fame. Panda said that he must suck being famous for f***ing being a f***ing retard with autism, you dumb dog f***er. He took little notice of her verbal eruptions and, in general, was growing distant in their interactions. Panda Halo finally managed to convince Chris to film his first video in over 2 months.
Captain's log. I wish to express my deepest appreciation for everybody who voted for me on the Guitar Hero Be a Star contest, and for allowing me to be the first to win the first of the $400 gift cards weekly there.
He also addresses Ryan Cash's family.
And for Ryan Cash and his family, I feel for you, and I'm sorry. But best thing you could do for Ryan and yourselves, just to move on. Try to be happy in the future. Gee, so much power. That's a lot worse than when that child locked himself in the room after seeing Optimus Prime die in the original movie.
Chris, supposing I've never seen the original Transformers movie from the 80s, can you explain this to somebody who hasn't seen it? Or try and use it without references to things we've probably not seen? Chris, also, you would have thought that apparently contemplating that much power, Chris would have been a bit more responsible. I'm saying that as though this is exactly what I would have done if I was in his shoes. But it does bear referencing the fact that Chris Chris has always had difficulties trying to be something he isn't, and he knows fine well when people aren't buying.
He informs his fans that Sonichu Issue 8 will be released in early January and announces that the first meetup of the Sonichu Home Club over on the PlayStation Home Network will take place on January 2nd.
Do not leave me, fans, because more is to come, definitely.
Oh,
but
I bet.
it just depends on my inspiration. I get a lot of stress in my life, and it sometimes hinders me, and even my mental block. Yep, a little embarrassed from saying that, but it's a truth. But you can depend on me to have the comics up as soon as possible at my own pace. So patience will be greatly rewarded. Thank y'all very much, and have a pleasant day, and talk to y'all again in 2009.
2 days later, Cassie Rosechew emailed Chris letting him know that she and her friend Sarah May created Sonichu Girls, a web forum dedicated to the female fanbase of Sonichu. He quickly came and introduced himself to
I
everyone
bet he did.
and proclaimed that he empathized with the fairer sex. I feel that I am truly in touch with my feminine side, to the point where I'm capable of learning from that to better understand how to treat women in a caring, nurturing, positive way. I've also
Based on what exactly?
learned from Red Skelton of how to be a gentleman. Sometimes I wonder between my caring attitude and the lack of a sweetheart if I was born the wrong gender. I wonder what life would have been like if I had actually been born a girl. But afterwards, I'd realized that I should still appreciate being born a boy to gentleman. God gave me the package, and I signed for it. He thanked his female fandom for treating him like a king. On that same day, Gay for Sonichu, a web forum for the gay Sonichu fans, was founded by one named Ignatius J. Riley, named after a character from the novel
Yeah,
A
I know
Confederacy
about
of
this.
Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. On January 2nd, 2009, Christian held his first Sonichu Home Club get-together. This event was recorded and later transcribed, but that video has since disappeared and thought to be lost.
Damn.
On the same day, he received an email from someone claiming to be Takashi Tezuka, a famous video game director associated with Nintendo. He stated that Nintendo were going to introduce Sonichu and Rosechew as characters in the game Animal Crossing City Folk for the Nintendo Wii. But during development, they left their Wii Connect 24 feature on, and the characters wandered off into the network and were encountered by other players of the game. The following day, Christian participated in a 2-hour-long IRC chat with members of the Sonichu Girls who persistently praised and complimented Chris to the point of collectively exclaiming about how they all wanted to lose their virginity to him. Towards the end, he confessed that he didn't get along well with his father, citing his unwillingness to wash his hands, the number of arguments he starts, and his homophobia as pressure points. While getting asked why he didn't move out and live life on his own, he said he was feeling stressed. Blue Spike revealed that her real name was Julie. Behind the scenes, Christian and Julie's relationship was getting more heated, which came to a boil in an IRC chat a day later. Julie confronted Chris, upset to find out that he was still dating Sarah, and Chris was compelled to say that he loved her more than Panda. Then Sarah joined the chat and understandably felt betrayed. Everyone in the chat called him a jerk. Julie was so hurt that she threatened to kill herself and left the chat. Christian responded with a somber "damn." He then told Sarah that he loved her more than Julie. After a while, Blue Spike came back. Chris regrettably confessed that he got carried away and professed his love to both of them. Julie threatened to reveal his lying ways to the Sonichu Girls. While Chris was still virtually being yelled at and branded as a heartbreaker, he confessed that he needed to finish the comic and left the chat. This day also marked the first documented Skype chat between Chris and Julie, with Julie revealing that she was moving to the United States from her home country, the fictitious Mulvania. On January 5th, Christian finally released Sonichu Episode 18 to the public. The prologue of the story once more establishes that all the relevant characters are of legal age by showing the birthday parties of Sonichu, Rosechew, and the Chaotic Combo. At Jungle Beach, Bubble surprises Blake with a birthday cupcake, and they share a kiss. The episode itself begins with news reporters covering the spring break party, with the anchor of FQX News, Greta Squall, without warning, tearing off her suit to jump into the party herself. The scene cuts to DJ Jams to Sonichu, who thanks Mayor Chandler for keeping Quickville clean, noting that nobody has to go home drunk or somkey. He then promotes Quick Cola and informs the listeners of the upcoming events.
Jamster, are you telling Porkies? Are you sure you haven't been on the source yourself?
The scene then joins Jigliami and Blanca backstage, excitedly waiting to perform. Sonichu and the Rose Chews are at the beach enjoying the sun when they spot a mysterious Rose Chew. Magi-chan telepathically informs Bubbles that there is a Sonichu crystal in the ocean, ordering her to fetch it. Sarah Mackenzie and the late Sarah Jackson make a cameo appearance. Chris incorporates an illustration made by Panda Halo into the artwork. Bubbles brings Blake off to the side and tells him that after she receives the crystal, they will meet under Pier 969. After she leaves, the dark new character assumes Bubbles' likeness. Chris then tells the origin story of this new addition to the cast, claiming that one egg from the Rainbow Blast in episode 1 was launched into space and landed on the moon. After attached, Count Graduan appeared to mentor it into adulthood. He announced that she would not be able to give birth, but in return would acquire both male and female genitalia. She, or he, evolved into Sylvana Rosechew. Back in the present day, Bubbles is searching for the crystal, and Christian inserts a reference to the Disney animation The Little Mermaid. Meanwhile, Blake has just purchased a box of condoms labeled Jimmy, when Sylvana, disguised as Bubbles, surprises him. She convinces him to forego the condom.
I'm going to assume that Chris meant to say Johnny's, but
They get to the pier and have sex. Unbeknownst to Blake, Sylvana secretes a sleep-inducing nectar from her vagina, which tranquilizes him. Bubbles then texts Blake, letting him know that she will meet him soon. So Sylvana transforms into Blake. In the meantime, Punchy tells Wild how much he fancies Angelica, but can't seem to express his feelings for her. Wild informs him of a dating education class at Quickville University. They agree that they...
Yeah, one of the things these do is that they make sure the actual text stays in the speech bubbles. I'm saying that as though that's all that matters, but to be honest, it's the other little things about this whole comic that astound and amaze me. Please tell me Chris didn't draw the bubbles first and then decide to put the text in them, as opposed to the other way around. I would have loved to have seen what Chris's methodology was in terms of the actual production of this comics, because ideally, a comic would require sort of like a manuscript type format, almost like a television script, offering locations, dialogue, actions, camera frames and stuff like that, backgrounds, stuff like that. Whereas I think Chris just decided to do away with all that and just throw it on there and say, done. Print.
Both will join it. Jigliami is backstage and discovers the sleeping body of the true Blake. Bubbles is about to meet with whom she thinks is Blake when Magi-chan sends her a message telling her that he is...
And for some reason Bubbles hasn't got any legs. What happened to Bubbles?
Is about to meet with whom she thinks is...
Look at this. What is this?
Blake when Magi-chan sends her a message telling her that he is an imposter. Skeptical, she tells him to use a thunderbolt attack on her. Unable to replicate the attack, she realizes that it's not the real Blake. But before Sylvana could destroy Bubbles, Magi-chan teleports her to Blake's bedside. Finally, Jigliami gets to perform the song War of Love, written by Blanca Weiss. After she finishes, Christian informs his readership that Blanca found herself a boyfriend and moved back to Kentucky. He also mentions the difficulty he had in choosing one out of 3 women he was flirting with over the internet. Fortunately, God and Jesus made the decision easier for him by killing Sarah Jackson in a car crash and revealing the other to be a troll, possibly referring to Jesse Ruddy. This left only Sarah Mackenzie unscathed, promising her his virginity and eternal loyalty. He gives a brief message of condolence to Ryan Cash.
That a brief mention, yes. Also, I was going to say, that is not plot armor, ladies and gentlemen. That is plot invincibility. Sarah and Cassandra Mackenzie survived just because God decided to kill at least one of them. Also, I love the fact that Ryan, Also, I'd like to take this moment to remember the Solitude fan, Mr. Ryan Cash, who committed S while I impulsively said that I would stop the comic on the ED page. Ryan, I'm sorry. Accompanied by a sad face. Chris, I think it's going to take a little bit more than just a sad face.
On the same day the comic was officially completed, Chris received an email from noted game designer and the then senior executive of Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, an elaborate scheme of a troll. The fake Miyamoto told him that he was interested in meeting Chris concerning the Sonichu video game. The same troll also assumed the role of James Zilberstein, the alleged lawyer for Nintendo of America, who was often referred to by the nickname Jay-Z. While very flattered, Chris voiced his concern concerning the commute to Nintendo headquarters in Washington state. The following day, he expressed his elation in a video.
For those of you who own a Nintendo Wii and the Animal Crossing City Folk game, you'll be interested to know. Sonichu and Rosechu, actual villagers, coming to your town, February 24th, 2009, my 27th birthday. And also with that, I am
Can I just ask the question? I know it's going to be probably the most nothing thing to say so far in this episode, but Chris is talking about his characters being introduced into Animal Crossing City Folk. Why doesn't Chris look happy about that? Chris looks as though it is the most flat monotone he's been yet. Why is Chris not happy about this revelation?
definitely it talks. Aside from the Nintendo associate who has informed me about the Animal Crossing deal, as well as their lawyer, the lawyer of Nintendo of America, who I will not reveal their names, keep them quiet there.
He talks about an issue concerning the names of some of his characters.
I am working on the edits among the comics, with name changes of some of the characters, because some of them are based on real life, but most are not. And also, I had to talk with the lawyer and sort out which were most relative to Sonichu himself and the franchise, as well as those that are only relative to me and my person, and those that were not relative to either one. And just let y'all see what I did with my Wiimote and nunchuck. Look, Sonichu colors. And I painted silver C's around the Wii. Make it more like Queek. And then, just keeping it CWC there. Okay, so enjoy. Continue to make Sonichu and Rosechu very popular and praise them very much. Then we can get the games made. Alright. That's about it for now. Have a good day.
Christian was told by Miyamoto and or Zilberstein that he was legally obliged to change the names of all the characters in his comics who were based on real people. He proceeded to go through the entire Sonichu back catalog, altering the names of people from his real life.
Wow.
Mary Lee Walsh, for instance, was reimagined as Sloweel Ryam and sometimes Sloweel the Witch, the names of whom being based on the reverse spelling of Mary Lee Walsh. Despite him manually altering all the instances of actual people being mentioned in his comic, he made no attempt at correcting the numerous spelling mistakes present throughout. Likewise, he was instructed to change his Curse Hameha attack because the word curse was deemed too aggressive. Chris consequently changed it to a Shin Ye Hameha, which was likely to have been a reference to the anime series Excel Saga director's name, Shinichi Nabeshin Watanabe, and is a similar use of wordplay to the Nabe Hameha, which is the iteration used in Excel Saga. This ongoing relationship between Christian and Miyamoto came to be referred to by the trolls as the Miyamoto Saga. They began to apply this label to other past interactions with Chris and particular people, be they real or fake. For example, his relationship with Megan became known as the Megan Saga. His conflict with Stackhouse was the Adam Stackhouse Saga, and his failed romance with Blanca became the Blanca Saga. This categorization system became common practice with future trolling endeavors and important life events. On January 6th, the same troll who posed as Miyamoto and his lawyer assumed the identity of Greg Mays, a web designer working for Nintendo, and emailed Chris informing him that he had been assigned with the task of redesigning the Sonichu website in anticipation of Sonichu and Rosechu's incorporation into Animal Crossing. After a few exchanges, Christian gave Greg the administrative password to Sonichu.net, which was swiftly changed
no.
so Chris could not access it anymore. His other themed websites were also blocked. Mays claimed that lawyers representing Sega suspended the site due to a copyright conflict. Despite Mays denying it, Chris accused him of being a troll. Now listen, sir. I want you to restore all the files you've deleted from Sonichu.net, the Sonichu and Roastu fan site, Quick's Pokesite 2, and the other Quick sites that were on there, or I will have my lawyer, his people of Nintendo, and the people of Sega, even the power of Mr. Miyamoto himself, bring in a tracking team, track you down, and force you to restore Sonichu.net, and all with a cruel, beating up, terribly painful punishment. You do not want to remain on my bad side. My fangs are sharp, and I can thirst for blood, even though I am Cherokee, not a vampire. Greg May.
Well, one, since you've demanded so aggressively, and two, Chris, you willfully just gave up your password to somebody you've only been chatting to for like a day or two. Chris, also, if Greg Mays made the first contact, then I'm just going to say that's almost tantamount to scamming anyway, is that whenever they make the first move. Believe you me, guys, I've seen the tactics and I really, really do not like them. And well, you don't give a penny to them. That's all I can say.
Mays even showed Chris a mock-up of the proposed new design to prove that he was not a troll, only to be apparently fired by Nintendo. Look, thanks to a mistake on Sega's part, I've lost my job and now I can't feed my kids for the next week. I offered to restore the site, but you wouldn't let me, so the client, you, has been lost and my employer just fired me. I am crying right now. Thanks. Christian made a video addressing the issue.
Unfortunately, due to a troll having found access to the database behind Sonichu.net, it is temporarily shut down and I cannot change the password at the moment. But apparently the guy said that it can't fix it, so pretty much forced him to do it. So, you know, Greg Mays at gmail.com with 3 G's in the Greg. If you do not re-upload Sonichu.net back to the way it was, I will come down at you with my boys from Nintendo and my lawyer man from Nintendo, Jay-Z. He gonna come down with his boys from Nintendo and the boys at Sega. They're gonna track you down. We're gonna punish you for what you did if you don't bring my website back up to the way it was. Jay-Z, if you were the one of the trolls that wanted a response, you're getting it. So just listen to me, you jerk. Re-upload it, or we're gonna rain heckle on you, because I'm not afraid to show my fangs. But I digress.
And to think, I thought Chris's previous threats of trying to put people into Soul Calibur 3 was going too far.
Yes. Peace and love to all the rest of the loyal Sonichu and Roastu fans. Thank you for your patience.
Despite the troubles concerning his website, he continued to correspond with Shigeru Miyamoto, recounting the discussions he had with his parents. Mr. Miyamoto, my mother has given the issue much thought, and she feels that she should come with me to be my escort. Personally, I also would feel better and safer with her around. I'm sure you can understand, since upon my understanding based on your past story ideas with Pokemon at least, and Ash with his mother in the second and third movies, my mother and I felt the sense of those who worked on them had deep affections for their mothers as well. We were
Chris,
deeply
don't
moved.
say that.
My father, who has traveled with General Electric, says that Nintendo should pay for mine and my mother's tickets in advance. Then my mother and I can pick them up at the airport. Please let me know swiftly if it's possible. Due to our financial situation, and my father being a penny pincher, we need you to advance the tickets to me and my mother, please. Barbara herself contributed an email to Miyamoto. We apologize for any inconvenience. A rush request of this nature jams the thinking process and does not allow time for working out all details to travel from coast to coast and does not allow for necessary financial arrangements. We thank you for this opportunity and hopefully can come to the best solutions for all involved in this venture. Robert and Barbara Ryder have both had experience with big business with General Electric Company and Reynolds Metals. Of historic value to the computer world, Robert was in on the research and development from the beginning, and without his knowledge, NES might not have arrived so soon. We look forward to joining with you in this venture. Yours truly, Barbara Weston Chandler, Mother. Robert Franklin Chandler Jr., Father. After arranging a new date, Chris presented Zilberstein with new game ideas, talked about his vast game collection, and suggested that it would be no trouble for Miyamoto to send him $800 to cover the trip to Washington. He suggested a plan B, which involved flying Miyamoto to Chris's house instead, but understood that it would be challenging given his busy schedule. When suggested that he should sell off his games to pay for his trip, Chris stated that he couldn't due to the history he had with them. He also talked about receiving a monthly social security payment for his disability, and then talked about the numerous times in his life he overcame the odds. On January 12th, the troll behind Greg Mays told Chris that he was actually Jason Kendrick Howell, and said that in order to regain access to Sonichu.net, he had to make a video announcing that he was either straight or gay, leaving the choice up to Chris. He made a 9-second long video stating that he was straight, holding up a poster of Britney Spears as proof.
Don't you forget it.
Insulted by its brevity, the one who called himself Jason ordered Chris to make a much longer video. He conceded, making a near 10-minute long video in which he professes that he is straight.
You know who I am. But I have
didn't.
randomly decided to make this video because I am sick of all the false accusations and rumors and slanders that have been going around on the internet against me. So I tell you for sure and for true that I am straight. Most of my friends in my life have been female. I've had only few male acquaintances, and they definitely turn me off, the majority of them, because they are rude, crude, and inconsiderate, causing wars and such. But women are so kind and sweet. And you don't have to look at any of them in bikinis or in a nude to fail to see the beauty in each and every wonderful woman. You know, between them and me and the majority of the world, we all just want to be understood. And I understand the ladies.
Do you know?
I understand the women. You could definitely see the sheer brilliance of their delightful personalities between each and every one of them. And just because they act in a harsh nature, even when they should be calm and peaceful, they still care.
Even when they should be calm and peaceful. You know what? Just a small little note is that, oh, so now you're going to be telling us how they should and should not act, Chris. Guys, take this from somebody who knows a thing or two. Don't ever start telling people what they can and cannot feel. Because unfortunately, they'll let you know in greater detail and with a greater exclamation based on the emphasis of volume about how they feel. And also about how they'll feel about you. Because I've got into my fair share of arguments with people who've tried to force me to feel certain things. And guess what? They are certainly not going to do that. Or ever again, I should say.
About the men in their lives. And especially the children that she and her husband put together. Like I would be putting together with my sweetheart.
Chris, they're children. You're not putting together a table.
Never gonna give you up. I appreciate the inner beauty more than the outer beauty. But yet, I am attracted to the outer beauty as well, as the majority of my gender should be able to appreciate. And Playboy has been able to help us in that sense to better relate and further our appreciation for the female species. The females, the women, the beautiful ladies.
You know, if I thought Matt Damon It would have been hilarious if Chris accidentally picked up an issue of Playboy that was, we give an exclusive interview to Jeffrey Epstein or to Prince Andrew. I doubt that would have ever have happened, but it would be the most ironic and the most scandalous thing Chris has done to this point. Everything Chris does really is borderline scandalous, but I thought that would have just been a bit of a just kind of and it's also for the fact that Chris doesn't even sound convinced himself he knows what he's talking about. This is why you best actually rehearse the things you say, because it means you'll be going into a video and you won't have any handicaps whatsoever. Chris, you haven't just shut yourself.
But I digress with holding a Playboy. I still care about the women. And I even go as far as to stoop to one low level.
What's that, Chris?
Boobies. Vaginas.
That's it. That's it. Gorgeous. Great. Thank you, Chris. What about, thighs, knees, shins, stomach, neck, hairline, scalp, ears, head, shoulders, knees, and toes? Chris, at this point, why not just go the whole hog? I mean, what are you so nervous about, Chris? Because if Chris was feeling nervous, it didn't seem to matter before. Especially when Chris said he was going to be shagged by a collie, or when Chris said that he was trying to flirt with somebody who was 17 and said, I could be your tutor in a few months' time. Ew.
Gorgeous. Christian Weston Chandler. I am straight.
I love it when people... I love it when people start talking about themselves in the third person. It's so great.
Peace.
After the video was completed, Hal asked one more thing of Chris. Saddened by the loss of both of his own parents, he wanted Chris to make a video with Bob and Barb and to have them express how proud they are of him. He said that he would film it soon. He never did. On January 15th, 2009, Chris announced that Sonichu.net was restored and also uploaded a video officially denouncing ED.
I am hereby making it official and making a statement that majority to every single detail
Not majority.
on that heinous page against me is all a pack of lies, bunch of slanders, twists of my own actual words and drawings and such for the trolls / internet bullies' own evil purposes. I'm a good person. I'm good-natured, but I will show my fangs when I have to. Only when I have to. I'm showing my fangs right now against that page.
He also thanks Sarah Mackenzie and the Sonichu girls for their ability to appreciate and understand him for who he is.
So I'm making it official. Nobody will be allowed or ever able to use anything on that page, that Encyclopedia Dramatica page, with the name Chris Chan or something similar along the lines of running to Christian Weston Chandler or Christopher Weston Chandler, or even Christopher Christian Weston Chandler or Christian Christopher Weston Chandler, among those names. I curse y'all to bad luck and extreme misfortune. Shinye Hame Ha! Peace.
The following day, Christian stated that Jason had seized control of Sonichu.net once again and announced the conception of his new domain.
That bastard, Jason Kendrick Howe, the guy who originally started the Encyclopedia Dramatica page, hacked my tripod account the first time, and after recovering the password and full capability of the tripod account, he just had to do it again. So in the future, from this point on, it's sonichu.info. Info.
On January 17th, The troll masquerading as Jason Kendrick Howell revealed himself to be Ryan Cash's older brother, Clyde Cash.
Oh,
Refusing to
no.
believe this latest revelation, he continued to refer to the troll as Howell and left an angry message on his voicemail.
Jason Kendrick Howell, you bastard! Bastard! You hacked into everything! You have driven me so beyond the wall I can't even describe it! You love me never, and I pray you dead! Goodbye!
With Troll's moves and behavior becoming predictable, Chris could have had the sense to ignore them, as he had stated before, and not fuel the fire. He could have realized that the trolls only craved for attention and would grow in tenacity once noticed. Clyde Cash would prove to be no different.
Oh dear. Okay, so you may have noticed throughout this video, I have made references to the fact that when you actually do sit down and you stop to think about this, Chris should have known better and should have had the forbearance to realize that, you know what, why am I giving this information away to somebody I don't know? What evidence does somebody have claiming there to be Shigeru Miyamoto? And to what reference or anything like that do we have that this is the actual Jimmy Hill? Why Chris never bothered to investigate himself, I genuinely do not know. And you don't need a lawyer, by the way, to have done something as basic as, I don't know, write an email to the BBC and then told them about this inquiry. There may be people in the moderation team, well, people who deal with those sorts of things with the BBC. They may take one look at it and may think that this is got to be some kind of joke. However, if it is technically accusing somebody on their payroll, Jimmy Hill, then as far as I'm concerned, the BBC would probably have some level of responsibility to actually look into this affair. How much they would have done it, I legitimately don't know. It would probably have to be in cases where somebody made an accusation against somebody and something that needed an explanation. I mean, I mentioned before that when I went on Blast Lab back in 2009 and I met Richard Hammond and quite a lot of people who, you know, were producers and stuff, people who work behind the scenes mostly for things like September Films. You know what? It was a very professional setup. Everything was done fine. Even Richard Hammond spoke to me and my friends for like about 5 minutes, and he told us about sort of how things were going to be done, and he talked about, you know, it was just, I think it was more basic litigation stuff like that. And to be fair to Richard, he was very, very, very straight to the point, and it was that he was responsible about the whole thing. And honestly, you couldn't ask any more than that. So yeah, that's just how it was. And like I mentioned before, if Chris literally took one step back, thought about what was going on, especially because of what had happened before, Chris, I don't even think like the trolls even are trying that hard, because if I could see through all this, then I'm more than certain Chris could have. There's no reason why Chris couldn't have done it, but yeah, why Chris continues to fall for this is a good question, but I don't even think Ignatius J. Reilly would have fallen for half of this. And I just started reading that book, Confederacy of Dunces again. But with all that being said and done, I'll see all of you guys again next time as we are ready to pull out of the station once again. All aboard!